You're listening to the Keep It 100 Girls show. Don't be fooled by the Manexcuses, a woman's protection policy. Episode number 45. Today's episode of the Keep It 100 Girls show is brought to you by Target. By the looks of things, Target has a lot going on this week for shoppers. With fall right around the corner, now is the perfect time to trick or treat to get some great deals. For starters, Target is offering an online-only 50% off rate on all BOGO clothing, shoes, and accessories. You could also refresh your home decor with Target's Furniture Buy More, Save More event. This is how it works. You spend $150, you save $40. You spend $300, you save $100. You spend $450, you save $175. You get the gist. And don't forget about the rest of your house, because this week at Target.com, you're going to save $20 when you spend $80 on bedding, bath, rugs, decor, or lighting. Can you also believe Halloween is not that far away? Have no fear, because Target has some scary good savings in Halloween-related purchases. And this will make your holiday easy and fun. For one day only, though. Get ready and mark your calendars, because September 22nd, you're going to save 40% off kids' costumes and accessories. For easy access, you can find the Target link to any of these sales located in my show notes. So it's right there on your mobile phone or desktop. All you got to do is press the ... next to the episode title, and you know what? That's going to pull up a bunch of choices. You're going to select View Full Description. And if you're stuck, just head on over to ninababel.com/podcast, and you're going to look for the Target shopping link located under episode number 45. Welcome back to the Keep It 100 Girl podcast. As always, thank you so much for joining me today for another 50 Shades of Cray Cray. Live from Washington, D.C., I'm your host, Nina Babel, and if you're joining moi for the first time, I help both women, and especially today, you men. And I'm going to help you celebrate that thing called embarrassment in your life. This is where I get both men and women to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, even if it's totally embarrassing, or you know what? Super cray cray. You know, people want raw. They want raw, they want real, they want edgy. And I know when my numbers go up, it's because you guys want to hear that. If you have any edgy suggestions, hit me up on social media. Or you know what? Just send me an email, which you're going to hear nearer to the end of this episode. Girly Nation, are you ready to keep it 100? My hand is raised. How about yours?
Are you ready to keep it 100?
Ready to keep it 100, girl.
Oh, Nina, I keep it 100, baby.
Yes, I'm ready to keep it 100.
I'm ready to keep it 100, girl.
You know I'm going to keep it 100.
So, in my last week's episodes, I asked women of all ages and stages of their lives to tell me what their last relationship or marriage taught them. Every relationship has a lesson, and when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Last week, I dropped a Keep It 100 moment, which marked the anniversary of 9/11. And myself and I, after 15 years, I finally decided to share my story from end to end. But the theme of today's episode is every girl has experienced this once in her life. And don't lie about it either. Keep it 100, peeps. And conversely, guys, I know you have tried this at least once. Don't be fooled, girl, because it's Nina to the rescue. If you follow my most recent episodes and social media, I've been telling you about my upcoming books. Yes, that's plural. I'm writing night and day, day and night. And I thought of you, Girly Nation, when I talk to women. Today, I'll be talking about the condom excuses men use and the girl code responses you need to tattoo in your brain. There's all kind of condoms out there. So doesn't feel natural and can't keep it up are all BS excuses. In Manexcuses, a woman's protection policy, which is the name of the book, by the way, I am giving you some reverse psychology BS by sharing my don't be fooled tactics used by men And unfortunately, some of you women fall for it, and some of those men get away with it. But we're solving panic one girl and one condom at a time. What should be a black and white conversation, especially with all the safe sex campaigns out there? It isn't. Check out this stat. The National Campaign to Prevent Teen and Unplanned Pregnancy did a survey this past summer in May 2016. As many as 1 out of 3 guys said it's a woman's responsibility to make sure she doesn't get pregnant. That's a double standard if I ever heard one. We're responsible but shamed to buy protection. I got another one for you. Check this out. 46% of you guys ponied up and admitted they won't offer to use a condom, even if they have one handy too. 23% of you admit they hate using them. In today's episode, you're gonna hear this. Number 1, we all know condoms are necessary. So, what do you call people who use the rhythm method of birth control? Parents! Bada bing, bada boom. Number 2, most guys hate using condoms, in case you didn't know. Guys who've tried to convince a woman they don't need a condom, they'll do it again. Number 3, women who don't know how to ask or tell them to get a condom. I know you're out there. Number 4, fun fact, women share their condom strategies.
I approve this message.
And I approve this message.
I approve this message.
I'm proud to approve this message.
Newsflash, men hate to use condoms, ladies. If this guy is insisting on it, it means he's gotten away with it with others, which is all the more reason to use one. Most men, if they're given the choice, they're not going to choose to wear a condom, ladies. But that's not what this is about. If you're not in a committed relationship, and by this I mean 6 months or less, right? You are not ready to deal with any complications that may arise, namely STIs, due to him not wearing a condom. I get it. You don't know how. You are embarrassed. We all were taught to use condoms, and there's some that probably didn't, but nope, no condom, no dice, that's the deal. Here's a great example of gender stereotypes that causes women to already feel more shame about the shame they already felt about being responsible. 66% of men say they respect a woman more if she brings up the topic of protection before getting intimate.
I met this one girl, and this was just like last 2 months, 4 months ago, and we started dating. I've known for about a week at our thing, and then after the first time we started talking about it, what I found was kind of interesting because I never had this kind of conversation in that detail. And she asked me if I would be interested in seeing her last test. And I thought she was joking, Nina. I thought she was joking, but she was straight up. She's like, well, you just never know. And, I don't want to take any chance. You never know what could happen. And I'm just scared of being upfront. I thought it was kind of cool.
Okay, so let's move on with sex without protection, because 48% of men say they have sex before discussing protection at some point of time. Huh.
It's crazy, but I didn't realize how serious people were about, getting it on, because, oh gosh.
Well, they will break up with you if you don't?
No, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people expect you to do that when you get to college, or at least as a freshman, or... Mm-hmm. Because they actually have condoms in the lobby of the boys' dorm.
Yeah, and it's only in the boys' dorm, which is kind of weird in a way, but...
Huh. Like they're enabling.
They're just... Yeah, they're just... Yeah. They're just there.
They're not
in the girls'
right. It should be both ways. I guess they're setting the expectation that the boy should always be have a condom, but I think it should work both ways.
Yeah.
Locations of condoms at the front desk of this college dorms really says it all. In fact, it sets a precedent and enforces and enables the gender stereotype.
I thought that was kind of weird because they have them like at the front desk, and you like signing your parents at the front desk too. So it's just really weird when I thought about that. It's like, you guys just have condoms right here.
Imagine what parents are thinking.
Yeah, it's just like, you're just giving my son condoms, like. But it's better to be safe than sorry, I guess you can say. But at the same time, I feel like girls need condoms too. Like,
yeah,
like
definitely should.
Guys to just go out there because there's a supply of condoms in the lobby. So if you want to get it on, just go grab one as opposed to maybe I shouldn't do this, or maybe we should just wait a little bit. But it's readily available.
So whether it's your mother, your father, your family member, an elder, sister, friend, best friend, girlfriend, cousin who are giving you the sex talk, chances are they're going to leave the emotional part out. It's not exactly pillow talk, but you have to be firm, especially in the heat of the moment, in the midst of losing your senses. And you all know full-blown well what I'm talking about. You know, when you get your ear nibbled on and you start getting all loosey-goosey inside and your panties go wet. And, you know, as that hot air is blown into those ear canals of ecstasy, you lose it. You friggin' lose it. You lose your senses. Dr. Megan Fleming, who is a clinical psychologist and sex therapist, is based in New York City, and she keeps it 100 with me.
You should always have if you're somebody who wants to have sex, you should be having your own condoms. You're not waiting for him to have that. And listen, I think women are still under that a bit of the slut shaming, right?
Yeah.
Oh, if I have a condom, does that equal I have sex all the time, or that I'm ready and prepared? I think that's a whole nother stigma that's a part of that conversation, which is being prepared is sexual health and empowerment. That does not equal you're a slut, right? That does not equal you're loose, or any of these connotations that I think, unfortunately, are still very much a part of our culture.
It's about him not respecting you or your request when you ask him to put one on. All the more reason you should tell him, boy, bye. Test it out, I dare you. Ask 5 men which excuses they have used not to wear a condom. You'll find an all too common pattern. I call it the no condom excuse. Just to test my theory, I got a few guys to help me out. Let's start with Garvin. He's divorced with 2 girls and he's dating again. He's in his 40s. And you'll notice the older women get, there is this unspoken feeling of, I don't want a pregnancy right now, but if it were to happen, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, opposed to when they were in their 20s.
I think, especially these days now, I think there's some expectations, but I think it depends on where I'm at with a person, but definitely if I meet someone for the first time and it's going to go down, first of all, I got to kind of have a few red flags, right? But I believe, if it comes down to it, if I don't know the person, I'm definitely going to suggest it, because you just don't know these days. I think it's harder to take a chance. I don't think any chances.
Now Garvin is married and divorced. He states the difference between using a condom then versus now. And what I mean by that is when he was younger versus older.
I think in college it was so that you have that, nothing can touch me. I'm invincible and nothing could ever go wrong, even though it could be, but I think you didn't think that way, right? I think the thought process is a little different. You're a bit more, you can take risk. I think the difference is between then and now is back then, I would take risk. Now, I would take very calculated risk.
Colin Tate is a relationship coach. In fact, he's a relationship lifeguard. He's in his 30s and married. So I asked Colin, what's the number one reason guys hate condoms? Yes, I might be restating the obvious, but I feel like we need to start from ground zero.
It simply feels better without the condom. I can't really attest to how it feels from a woman's point of view, but from a male's point of view, sex without a condom is more enjoyable. It feels better. And even though it is safer, when a man gets an erection or a hard-on, the blood comes from his feet and it comes from his head. So theoretically, we cannot think and we cannot move when we have a hard-on. So I say this to tell women that if you're in a moment of passion with a guy, things are going great, it's hot and heavy, and it's very spontaneous, what sex usually is, and he doesn't have a condom, which again, it happens. A guy doesn't, we're not walking around all the time with a condom in our pocket, because they bust in a wallet, they leak. So the only time we bring condoms is if we pretty much feel that sex is a certainty. But needless to say, let's say he does not have a condom. If you stop him and you say, hey, do you have a condom? His response is no. And he's still persistent. I don't care how much you like this guy. I don't care how good looking he is. That's a red flag. Because if you're not that special, meaning you are not the first person he's tried to have sex with without a condom, please don't think you're special. Please don't think he's making exceptions for you. Please don't think that you stand out amongst the crowd. Absolutely not. He has done this plenty of times before, maybe for one time, maybe 12 times, but trust me, he has done this before.
Oh yeah, that's a red flag. Ladies, do you see a red flag trend here between Colin and Garvin?
Because here's the whole thing when you do something wrong. When you do something wrong, it gets easier each time you do it. When somebody steals, you're nervous, you're guilty. But if you do it long enough, it gets easier and easier and easier. You don't think about it. So when the guys had unprotected sex with somebody and she did not get pregnant, or he didn't have a disease by her, it gets easier and easier for him to continue to do it. So that is something I want you to be very aware of. If he is insistent on doing it, that is a huge red flag.
The pull-out method.
Heard a lot of stories from girlfriends about the pull-out method. I learned from my girlfriends that there are only 3 or 4 days in a month that a woman could ever, get pregnant. So it's key not to have sex during those key 4 days of the month.
David is single and in his 30s, so I asked Derek, so you want to have your cake and eat it too by putting on a condom halfway? Break it down for me. Actually, us, Girly Nation.
My view on having sex without a condom, whether your partner was hesitant or not to use it, as long as it's mutual, you have a friendship or a tight-knit history together, then it's okay. There's nothing like that natural feeling, but you can't do it for everybody. And as you get older, you kind of at least hesitant to do stuff like that. But when I was younger, I had a few episodes of my own, and I enjoyed it as well as my partner.
Hey, Girly Nation. Welcome to the Keep It 100 Girl Camp. This is where Nina teaches you how to keep it 100 all day and every day. Just give me 1 hour and I will give you 10 ways to level up your freshman college game. We are taught to learn, you negotiate what you deserve. But Nina's going to teach you deserve what you negotiate. So, I'm doing a free webinar on September 23rd, and this is where I want you to sign up. Visit bit.ly/ all in caps KI100 boot camp. I'll see you soon. We're gonna keep it real, keep it true. Peace. So I wish someone told me it's exactly how you're going to feel. As a woman, you don't have to accept these excuses. Period. Which leads me to the Girl Code Guide to knowing, and boning better. No glove, no love. Tough love, Nina style. So there's nothing more embarrassing than not having a girl code response ready, like mentally ready, programmed, tattoo in your brain. And I'm talking like way before you decide to have sex. So the first thing you have to realize is who takes charge, him or her.
I never was on birth control. I felt like it would just chemically mess with my body. And it wasn't until I was older. When I was dating Jorge, I was like, well, let me see about going on a birth control because we wanted to not have protected sex. Because I was always a condom person. So I never, I love condom. So then when we got together, I was like, this might not work, this condom thing. So went to the doctor, sought out birth control. He was tested, I was tested, make sure we're clean and everything.
So she never had a situation.
But that's amazing how you've never taken birth control throughout your life.
Never. I've always just been a condom person.
But even like condoms are not guaranteed.
Well, I never had a situation where one broke.
Who pulls out the wrapper? Him or her? Some girls are just too shy or embarrassed to go buy them even in the drugstore. Guys are kind of prepared, but chances are the condom they've been carrying in their wallet for the last umpteen months is now dry and brittle, just like last. So there's 3 sides to every story. His, hers, and mine. You got this, girl. It's all in the code, girl code. No one broke it down for me in a tutorial-like format, so you know what? I'm going to be sharing my tales of trial and error so you can avoid the error and terror of having sex. Not literally terror, but figuratively speaking. So ladies, this is something we, and by we I mean you and I, don't share enough of. No one breaks down those hot and heavy, steamy scenarios we often find ourselves in. And don't forget about the lip service of excuses that men will give us in the bedroom. We don't know about brands, the types of condoms, or practicing those scripted answers for those condom rejections men love to use. So after each script, you will get the girl code answer in the book, No Glove, No Love. So the idea is this. In my book, my upcoming book that I talked about earlier, you are going to get the girl code answer. You will be prepared for that first time, second time, whatever the case is, for those condom rejections.
Do you think guys don't know how to put it on? I think they do. They just don't want to. They don't want to.
It's like forbidden fruit to them.
Yeah,
you have to argue sometimes. Like, no.
You're like, no, it's necessary. Even in this day and age?
Oh, yes. Like, but it's going to be so much better without it. You're like, it's still going to be great. I promise. So go get it.
Some of them get really upset about this. And I'm just like, you gotta, and they use that, but you're on birth control. Hold on, wait. That don't matter. Like, that's another subject. Who said you're... Exactly. Like, I don't know who you've been with. And especially on college grounds, if you're just meeting someone, you don't know, like, it could be a lot of people. So it's just very important to remember.
But before we get to the bedroom, let's make sure this is a safe place for every girl. We all have condom anxiety, right? We don't want to get pregnant. I don't want to catch anything. I want to feel comfortable while he's inside of me. Well, here's some tips to ease that anxiety and ensure that purchase you made is the right one. So tip number 1, you're going to stash it like a girl boss. So if you saw my condom etiquette video on YouTube, I told you to keep your own stash. You'll become the condom connoisseur at some point. I totally believe in this. If he says, I don't have any, perf. Because you know why? That's grounds for bonus breakup points. Tip number 2. Sample condom excuse. If he says he's too small, or it's too tight, or it breaks while putting it on, that's why you buy different brands, not just one. You want to experiment with different brands you like, but you also want to find out what he likes too. Guys will tell you their preference. They know. And besides, you can bulk buy condoms online, especially if you are too embarrassed to purchase them in the drugstore. Tip number 3. Why don't you watch him, girl? So if he goes to the bathroom, clean up, and then comes back to bed, turns around with his back facing you in the dark or the light, tell him you want to see him put it on, whether he pulls it out or you give it to him to put it on. Make it a romantic thing. Always watch. It's another way to get condoms smarter. First, check the expiration date. Second, check for a bubble and see if there's any holes in the condom. Tip number 4, do not, and I repeat, do not be clickbait. If you're in the moment and he says, I don't like condoms, hate wearing them, I want to feel you, babe, or I can't feel you, girl, that's clickbait. Just to see if you're going to give him the green light to keep going or stop. Do the right thing. Tell him, are you serious? See if he pulls one out. If he insists he doesn't have one, stop. Take a time out. Go into that nightstand to get that stash of yours, or in your purse to find that cute little sex travel kit. And I'll talk about that later. Oh, and if by some chance your stash is gone, happens to the best of us, there is a gas station, bodega, or 7-Eleven close by. Trust.
Back then, it was different. Now, you think about those things more so. Not that it was important. It wasn't important then. It just wasn't it wasn't like that higher in your priority list of being important. You know, I think now it's different. And, you know, at the same time, too, I mean, don't get me wrong. You know, if you want to, you know, when those juices and things are flowing, it's hard to stop and say, oh, let me get something. That's the furthest thing you want to do. But you have to, in hindsight, just because. You just never know.
Number 5, how to put it on. Trust me, every guy out there should know how to put a condom on. But in the event your boo is drunk, but he still insists on getting some, you are the backup plan.
So I'm going to stress condoms because, I mean, it's because you can't, guys aren't always the responsible one. And so I think for women especially, like, we got to step up and say, no, like, hold a second, like, I got one, like, and I think in terms of, like, being prepared in that aspect, because I think at the beginning, I think it's always like, oh, the guy's supposed to have it, or they're going to put it on, and it's, like, not always the truth, and you got to be like, hold up, like, where are we at here? So I think in terms of that, it's very necessary and important.
Every girl should know how to put a condom on her man. If you don't know how to put it on, girl, get in line for the No Glove, No Love ebook. So each episode represents my passion and purpose with storytelling. I interview everyday people like you and me. I learn from them, I teach others what you've done differently along the way, and I talk to you like I talk to my own girlfriends. I empower women, and you men too, of all ages to connect with their younger selves, celebrate the embarrassment, and most importantly, let the past go. The moment you give a guy an out, he will take it and run. So just be straight up prepared, poker face and all. I got to help you find your inner Beyonce, so you'll close the deal before you even give it up. This is about your health and his too. It's both your futures at stake. It's both your bodies, so protect yourselves. So for more information on the sex travel kit, you're going to visit bit.ly/S as in Sam, T as in Tom, K as in Kevin, 100. All right, ladies, I'm going to help you out. Just so you don't feel embarrassed going forward, this is going to be your girl stash that you keep in your purse 24/7. Okay, so as a bonus to this episode, if you want a 15-minute free consult with Colin Tate, who's the author of Is This Your Man? I'd take him up on it and visit www.isthisyourman.com. And that wraps up another episode of the Keep It 100 Girl Show. Tell me something good, Keep It 100 Nation. So every week I give you that fist bump for you to help you improve your game. I'm here to empower you every week and give you that dose of self-confidence to realize your self-worth. We celebrate embarrassment, self-love, and those life lessons that make you go, sheesh. I may suggest things that'll make you say, has Nina lost her friggin' mind? But the fact that you all are being open and honest is a true testament of what Keep It 100 really means. What real and raw really means. What no filters, no boundaries really means. But wait a minute. Before you go, give me some love, Girly Nation. If you really like this episode or any other ones, kindly leave me a 5-star rating and review on iTunes or Stitcher. I rely on it because it helps me stand out from the crowd, and it helps women and even you men understand us and women, them better. New episodes of the Keep It 100 Girl Show drop every Tuesday on iTunes, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, Google Play Music, Stitcher, and TuneIn Radio. And if you like my style and my episodes, spread the good word. Share my podcast on social, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and Facebook. I will help you out. Use the handle @NinaBabel. And you spell my last name like this. It's Babe, like hey babe. Babe with an L. That's easy. And if you want to share a story, drop me a line, question, story request, or pitch, use my direct email, nina@ninababel.com. Smooches!